Do you sometimes feel down? Do you feel just like you're always fighting? You're always trying to get better. You're always trying to do the right things for your body, for your immune system, for your autoimmune condition so that you can feel better. Do you always feel like you are in that battle? And then sometimes you just feel down. You feel like no matter what you do, right? I don't think I am alone in feeling this way. In fact, I know I'm not. On social media, I see people having hard days. There are hard days when you have an autoimmune condition, even when you are doing everything, quote, right, even when you are making progress, even when you are seeing good things happen. You can still have bad days. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to share with you some tips to help you out on those hard days because quite honestly, yesterday I was having a really hard day. I posted to my Instagram stories a picture of me in my bed. I had a migraine yesterday. As much as I keep doing, I still get migraines with my period, and there's obviously an estrogen component. So I am implementing everything that I teach you, especially, in that episode about estrogen. And yet I still have these headaches. I don't get the migraines every month, but yesterday I had a really bad one. I was throwing up with pain. I was in bed pretty much all day. I think I took 5 naps just because of the pain. So it was not a good day. And I posted on my stories and I said, I don't remember my exact quote, but it was something along the lines of, sometimes I feel like even though I'm doing all of the right things, it doesn't make a difference. I was feeling really down. And if you are in that spot, if you're in that spot and you found this episode because maybe you were searching for that, or maybe somebody shared it with you, P.S. Like if you are listening to this and you know one of your friends is going through a hard time, this is a good episode to share. So if you're listening to this episode and you're going through a hard time, here are some things that you can do. First, hi, I'm Esther. I am a registered nurse. I have 4 boys. My husband and I live in Minnesota where we did have snow. This is like I'm recording the week after Thanksgiving and we did have snow for a day or two. We should have snow again. I cannot do Christmas without a white Christmas. I need snow. I absolutely need it. The Christmas tree is fine. I don't know how all of you who live in, especially the Southern Hemisphere where it's summer right now, I don't know how you do it. I need snow to feel like it's Christmas. Anyway, this is where I live with my boys and my husband and a whole bunch of chickens and some cats. I have Hashimoto's. I was diagnosed a couple years ago, and I was diagnosed due to a flare-up of my skin. And then last winter, I recorded an episode. It's actually a pretty popular episode. It gets a lot more downloads than most of my episodes, and it was about my own flare. I did 2 episodes. One was what is a flare, and then the next one it was how I'm dealing with my flare. And another thing compounding yesterday's depression was I have had some reoccurrence of that flare. It hasn't been bad, but there's just some little signs, and I wonder, is it coming back? That skin flare up that I've had has been every winter for the past 3 or 4 winters. And so when I get these little, not quite sure what to call them, hints of what might be to come, I get really, really irritated and scared and angry because I have worked so hard on this and I do not want another flare up like last year. It was really bad. So I was feeling down and I had to do some things. First of all, just take a nap. Take a nap is sometimes very helpful. When Elijah or Elisha in the Bible had this huge battle, he won the battle and this huge victory. And then he was on the run from somebody who wanted to kill him. So he had fought, he had won, he was now on the run, and an angel appeared to him and basically said, take a nap, eat this food, and repeat. His first goal was to get adequate sleep and adequate nourishment. And I think we can learn a lot from that. I don't think that that's what God wanted us to see in that story, but it is what I see every time I read it. The importance of taking a nap and getting adequate nutrition. It can change your perspective. So that's the first thing. And then if you're still feeling down, which is probably true if you're listening to this episode, then the next thing is a concept is called the gap and the gain. Now, when you are looking at yourself on a timeline, so picture yourself and you're on a little timeline. In the past is obviously your history, right? And that would be where you've been, of course. And then forward is what you want to happen. That is your goals. It is your dreams. It is where you want your health to be. Now, the concept of the gap and the gain is when we're looking at where we are right now, we're so often looking at what's ahead. We're measuring ourselves from our goal, from where we want to be. And we see that we're not there yet. We see that there's so much more to do. But what we need to do is also look back and see how far we have come. When you look back, when did you start working on your health? When did you start working on your root causes? What was going on? What did you feel like? And how far have you come? Looking at that instead of looking at how far you still need to go, looking at that can really change your perspective. And instead of like berating yourself or your body or your immune system or your hormones or whatever, instead of berating those things and saying, why aren't we better yet? You can look back and say, oh my goodness, look how far we've come. Look what a difference that I have made in all of this work. Look at this and be so excited and so proud and thankful that you have come so far. And maybe it doesn't feel like you've come very far today. And that is one reason I ask my clients to keep a log and to write down how they're doing when we start, because so often the changes are gradual and we forget how bad things were in the past. So pull out a journal or pull up your Facebook memories or wherever you keep kind of a log of how you're feeling. Pull up something from a year, 2 years, 3 years ago and see how far you've come, how you were doing then. And be like, oh my goodness, I forgot. Yeah, I used to need 2 naps a day and now I don't need any. Sure, I've got a migraine, I'm throwing up, but I was having those migraines back then too, and now I don't need a nap. So I have come far. You can look at that. That is the gain. You are looking at the gain, how far you've come, instead of looking at the gap, which is ahead, where you want to be. You're looking at the gain. You're complimenting yourself. You're being grateful for how far you have come, what gains you have made. And I promise, if you have been working on your health, you have made some gains, and they might not be obvious. You might have to dig for them. But they're there. If you've been working on your health, you are making gains. And, if you have something going on, an autoimmune condition, maybe you've also had some setbacks. And that's okay. Is it fun? No. Is it pleasant? No. But setbacks are part of having an autoimmune condition. When your immune system is attacking you, we might have setbacks. And that doesn't mean we give up. It doesn't mean that all hope is gone. It means that we've had a setback, and you can continue still working on those root causes, because when you're growing a plant, you know that it's what's in the soil that is nourishing the roots, and it's what happens at that level, at the root level, that affects the plant, that affects the leaves. And in your health, the leaves are the symptoms. And in your health, it's the roots that are the causes. So we always want to go back to the root causes. And that is what I help you with in the Holistic Hashimoto's course. I hope that you take a look at that and see, how that can impact you. Because in that Holistic Hashimoto's course, we're going to go over all of the triggers, all of the root causes of Hashimoto's, so that you can work on exactly what is causing your Hashimoto's, so that you can find more gain, right? We want more gain and less of a gap. We want to be constantly making progress. We want less fatigue. We want less of a struggle with our metabolism or with our weight. We want better mental health. We want better skin. We want all of these things that are reversals of our symptoms. We want the leaves of our plant or the symptoms of our health. We want all of that to be better. And how do you get that? You get that by working on the root causes. And that is exactly what you're going to get in the Holistic Hashimoto's course. The next thing you're going to do on one of those hard days is you are going to go down to the show notes and you are going to click the button to download the Transform Your Year workbook. It is a holistic health and evaluation map so that you can evaluate where you are and map your way forward. And I'm just going to walk you through a couple of the first pages. There's a page for body, a page for mind, spirit, diet, and environment, the 5 components of the whole you. And for each of those things, I ask you, what is going well or what am I proud of? So you have a little bit of journaling space where you can answer that. So evaluating my health of my body. What is going well? For me, I don't have to take a nap every day. That is so big. When I think back to 2 or 3 years ago, I had to take 1 to 2 naps pretty much every single day just to make it through to bedtime. And I was, a chronically exhausted pigeon. If you've seen that meme, like, are you a morning lark or a night owl? I was a chronically exhausted pigeon. So what is going well for me? What am I proud of? I am super proud of that. I don't have to take a nap every day. And then the next spot down is, what is my biggest challenge right now? So for me, especially coming off of a day when I've had a really bad migraine, my biggest challenge is probably my migraines. And so I need to look at, what causes those. And I need to look deeper into estrogen, and maybe I need to work with a practitioner to evaluate other things. I know that, some mold damage can lead to that. And there's probably other root causes that I haven't dug into, and I need to work with somebody so that I can get rid of these stupid migraines. And then the third question for each of these pages is, if a miracle happened tonight while I was sleeping, when I wake up tomorrow, how will I know? Now, for me, I don't get a migraine every day. And so I'm not going to know. I'm not going to know until I get my period next month. And when I don't have a migraine, then be like, oh my goodness, I didn't have a migraine. This is awesome. But I've had those months. And so for me, it would probably take 2 months. And for my second month without a migraine, then I would know that something drastic happened. But what is it for you? What is your biggest challenge, and how would you know when it's going to be better? If a miracle happened, what would be that? What would be that miracle for you? Last year, when I was going through my horrible skin flare, it would have been obvious. I was covered like head to toe in itchy, burning, painful hives or a rash. It was really bad. So it would have been obvious when I woke up. But what is it for you? What is your biggest challenge right now? So you're going to download that workbook, and on every page of that workbook, you get to answer that top spot. If you don't do your biggest challenge, or if a miracle happened, that's okay. The first question of that each page is going to ask you to look at the gain. So when you're looking at your health on a timeline, how far have you come? And there's, 5 journaling spots for that. You have a journaling spot for what's going well in your body. And then the next page is your mind, then your spirit. About your diet. What are you proud of? What changes have you implemented in your diet? And then your environment. For me, I had an episode a while back, and it was about how clutter impacts your stress, it impacts your cortisol, it impacts your diet, and clutter is big. And I worked really hard on decluttering my bedroom, and my family has been helping me. We've been working on getting just stuff out of the house. We absolutely are not where we need to be, but we've made progress. So what am I proud of? I am proud that I can walk into my little section of the closet and there's not so much clutter. Okay, it kind of depends on when I've done laundry, because I don't always put my laundry away right away. I don't know about you. It goes in a pile on the floor in my closet. It's like a flat pile, but it's a pile. And I don't have that right now. Quite honestly, it's because my laundry is down on the couch. But anyway, when my laundry is all put away in my closet, it looks so good and I am really proud of it. What are you proud of? What is going well for your environment? Now, after those 5 pages of journaling prompts, there are 2 more pages, and we're going to talk about those pages later on in December because those are looking forward. But right now, I want you to look back and see how far you've come. When you're having a hard day, when you feel really down, when you feel like you're not making progress, this is crucial to do, to look back and see how far you've come. Is it going to change how you feel today? It might not change the physical symptoms. For example, when I was dealing with that migraine pain yesterday and I was throwing up because it hurt so bad, looking back at how far I've come did not change the migraine pain. But what it did is it gave me perspective. And it wasn't as depressing when I was, in that much pain. It wasn't as depressing because I knew I really have made progress. The lie that my brain was trying to tell me of this is pointless, I was able to recognize that as a lie because it is a lie. I have made progress. And all of this stuff that I've been doing on my health journey, it is not pointless. I am making a difference. I hope you know that too. And if you don't know what to do to make a difference, well, that is why I have the Holistic Hashimoto's course. It is to take you by the hand and show you exactly what you can do to help your health at a root cause level. If you're not affecting the roots, then the rest is just symptom management, and it's not going to get better. You're just going to be managing the symptoms all the while, the roots are going to be crying out for help, and then they're going to cause more symptoms. That's just how plants work. It's how you work. We have to address our health at the root cause. So head down to the show notes and download that free workbook. And I did put it twice it's not a misprint. When you see it, the first 5 pages, I think, or the first set of the workbook, it's really pretty. So if you journal on a screen, that's for you. If you print it out, there's an ink-friendly version down below. So the workbook is actually twice. That is what you're going to get in the download. The first half is if you're a screen person, and then the second half is if you want to print it and save some ink. As somebody who is a homeschooler and I print a lot of stuff, I really am trying to be a good steward of the ink because it is really expensive to buy ink. I mean, with inflation, everything is expensive now. And so if I don't have to print something that's really ink heavy, I don't want to. So head down to the show notes, download that free workbook. And then later on this month, we're going to talk about how to plan your health goals for the next year. I will see you next week on the Health with Hashimoto's podcast. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Please be sure to discuss any concerns and plans with your trusted healthcare professional.